Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about qualified written requests, because we get a lot of that from people saying, well, what's a QWR letter? If you just Google QWR, you'll get a lot of information about it. And it does seem daunting, but it really is very easy to understand once you understand what it is. And you'll see all these sample letters out there. So let's take a look at one of them. Let's see. Okay. I found this one at, where is this? operationrest.org/write a QWR. That's the link, and I'll include it. Anyway, it explains a lot about it here, just kind of in one-page format. It is a form of foreclosure defense, as you can see. So it talks about RESPA, Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, 12 U.S.C. 2605E. The homeowner has the right to dispute and question the alleged debt and to obtain key pieces of information about his or her loan. The servicer must acknowledge the QWR letter request within 5 days, excluding holidays, Saturdays, or Sundays, and must fully respond to the QWR by letter within 30 days, excluding holidays, Saturdays, Sundays, per the time mandated by Congress in Subtitle E, Mortgage Servicing of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, and pursuant to 12 U.S.C. Section 2605E, 1A, and Reg X, Section 3500-21E1, the Dodd-Frank WSF and CPA permit an additional 15-day extension if the homeowner is notified. And pursuant to Truth in Lending Act, Section 1641F2, the servicer, if requested, must provide the homeowner the identity of the owners of the debt. And so, basically, there are certain laws that they have to abide by when you send them these kinds of letters. And so, when you send the servicer one of these letters, you're asking them to prove that they own the debt and that you actually owe the debt. And so, we're going to show you a form letter of what questions are on it to the servicer, and then the servicer has a specific amount of time to respond, 5 days, and must fully respond to the letter after 30 days. Now, you must send these letters certified mail, so you have proof of service, always. And always document everything you're doing, too. Keep a record of everything. That way, when you're writing your complaint, when you're suing the bank, you can say, well, on this date, I sent them a QWR letter, and attach a copy of the actual letter as an exhibit, and it'll show, proof of service. You have your proof of service along with that. And that way you actually have evidence that they can't say, well, that's just hearsay. No. You actually have evidence, so they can't dismiss your case. So it's important to make sure you get these things kind of together before you go to court as much as possible, because the more ammo you have on them, the better off you'll be. And so a good QWR letter is a very good thing. Now, when the servicer plays the shell game, and what I mean by that is they sell your servicing rights or the servicing rights to another servicer, and so, my loan ended up going from Countrywide to Bank of America to Green Tree to Ditech now, I think it is, and so it's been going around, and whenever you get a new servicer, it's really appropriate to send that new servicer a QWR letter. They send you a welcome letter, and then you turn around and you send them your own welcome letter. Like, welcome, I'm not going to be taken for a ride by you people. And so, this is one thing you can do to fight back. And so it's not real hard to do, so let's take a look at the actual letter. Okay, so basically it's your general format letter. Your address, account number, Dear Sir or Madame, please treat this letter as a qualified written request under the Servicer or Federal Servicer Act, which is part of the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. And basically it says specifically we are disputing the identity and true secure lender, creditor, the existence of debt, and your authority and capacity to collect on behalf of the alleged lender creditor. Okay, yada yada yada, you see that. Okay, so let's get down to, these things. They're just going to ask, like, number 1, a full double-sided certified true and accurate copy of the original promissory note and security instrument and all assignments of this security instrument. Full name and address, telephone number of the actual entity that funded this transaction. Full name of trust where the note number is trading or has traded, and the identifying series of certificates. And, and then we're talking about QSIP numbers and things of that nature. But you know what? If your loan's been securitized, you have the right to know these things because they're making money off of our notes, our payment stream, so they say they are anyway. So you need to find out all these things, like, and these letters, these QWR letters are well written, and there's some good ones out there. And so this is going to make our servicer work. Look at some of these things that they're asking for. Full name, address, telephone number of any master servicer, sub-servicers, contingency servicers, backup servicers, special servicers. And they ask about MERS, MIN numbers, etc. So this happens to be a pretty good QWR letter for most people to use. An itemized statement of all payments. You definitely want to get one of those. For a loan level, that means the whole history of the loan. And they better provide you with a complete payment history. If they don't give you a complete payment history, then we need to file a complaint with the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, because those people need to be notified whenever a servicer gets out of line. Anyway, this is a really good letter, and it's basically, you could just copy a whole thing and paste it in Word. Not hard to do. A lot of us will send emails to each other of QWR letters that we've used, so we can all use them as templates. And if you need a template for a QWR, just let me know. I'm sure there's plenty of them. But I think you guys should know that you need to send these to your servicer. If you have never sent one of these, then by all means send them. Okay, because it makes them comply with certain rules, and when they send you the information, you can use that information when you're building your case. And if they don't send it, you can also use that information to build your case, because if they don't follow those deadlines, then you have to document that they didn't follow the deadlines. On such and such date was the deadline, they didn't respond. That way you countersue them in court. You file your new matter and counterclaims back at them. That way, when they're filing foreclosure and you file a new matter and counterclaims, then if you kind of itemize everything that they've done wrong, starting with QWR letter, let's say they didn't reply in the amount of time that they're supposed to, well, then you can cite that in your counterclaim. On such and such date, I sent a QWR letter, and they had till this date to reply. They failed to respond by that deadline. And then when they have to, when you countersue them, then they'll have to answer to that. And if they don't answer denying that and provide proof, then you've got them. So this is going to be really helpful for a lot of us. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me.